Welcome to What CEOs Talk About. Do you wonder what CEOs talk about behind closed doors? How they bring their vision to reality? How do they overcome and succeed through adversity? We share that and so much more with each episode. Now, let's get started with the show.
Hello, this is Martin Hunter, your host of the What CEOs Talk About, where we talk about translating strategy into frontline operations. Past guests include Dominic Rubino of the Profit Tool Belt and Cabinet Making Profit System. Say that 5 times. Matt Newman, SVP of Sales at the Explosive Growth Company, CPG, Alpha Foods. And you know what the heck? Let's put Sebastian here. Sebastian's a good friend of both Geoff and I. He's my biking partner, and he's part of the EO with Geoff. And he's the CEO of Black Tie Property Services. This episode is brought to you by Urgeo. Urgeo is Latin for to urge, a strong desire to drive change, stimulate thought, incite feelings, and encourage action. Urgeo provides fractional COO services to move you through growing pains so that your company can flourish and profit. Geoff,
yes,
you're a visionary CEO. I've worked with you.
I'm trying to be.
What did I do? How was I able to monetize some of the visions that you have?
When we had the opportunity to work together last year, pre-COVID, some of the things we were struggling at the time with our processes, our systems, our accountability management, and just being able to get things complete from point A to point B. And myself, not the most accountable person when it comes to sticking to the steps and finishing through. So being able to bring you on board was super helpful to teach me some of the steps and processes that I need to do, and just tips and tricks on how to stay accountable to the work that I'm doing. And yeah, you're really able to help our team take ownership in their roles and stick to their accountability goals. And it's really, created a huge improvement, and we wouldn't be where we are today without your help.
So, thank you. So, hey, you know, Geoff is super visionary, and you'll hear this in the podcast today. So if you're that visionary CEO, or you're a VC and you've got a visionary CEO who's leading one of your investment companies, and you need to have somebody who's an integrator who's going to monetize his ideas, then go visit urgeo.ca. That's urgeo.ca info at. These guys have worked with multiple companies like SaaS, CPG, mining, transportation, from startup all the way up to multinational corporations. Today, our guest is Geoff Livingston, CEO of Noravera Visuals. Put your hat down, Geoff, so we can see the logo here. Okay, those people who are listening and not watching the YouTube, Noravera Visuals. Great media corporation. So Geoff has done the Great Divide, so he'll talk more about that today. Avid mountain biker, almost 9 year CEO. He's getting the twitch. You'll hear in this podcast, in this show, he's getting the entrepreneurial twitch. He's doing well, and now he's like, okay, what else can I do? What else can I do? What else can I do? Dad, going to be a dad again for a second time over. But for those who don't know it, Geoff survived cancer. So he's always got a smile. He's always kind. He's always a smooth talker. Yes, is he visionary? Yes, left, right, and center. Absolutely. That's what makes him a great CEO. And today, what would you like to talk about, Geoff? What's near and dear to your heart?
I think would add a lot of value is just like the ups and downs of being an entrepreneur, and just the struggles that you go through in business and in your head, and just the unknown of what's coming on a day-to-day basis, and just trying to work and build that, and give yourself some self-love, and just figuring out how to continue to live every day the best.
So I think I heard you say, no, it's okay.
Got call coming in. I don't want that one. You disappeared. Okay. Sorry.
It's okay. I think what we're talking about is prioritizing self-care.
Yeah.
Right. So let's put that at the middle as we tell your story, because I think it's important, right? So you got news that you had cancer as you were doing this massive bike ride. So tell us,
3 weeks after getting home.
3 weeks after getting home. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Right. So tell us, let's start with that first one. Okay. So let's start with Nora Vera. How did you come
Yeah.
up with starting your company, Nora Vera?
Nora Vera started with myself and my good longtime friend Brian CC. As I was getting out of BCIT, I had an awesome mentor, Colin McRae, who from Influency. Oh, I'm going to get that wrong. No, let's just go with Colin McRae. So I had an awesome mentor, Colin McRae, who helped me through my final year of school, and just really encouraged me to take the leap and start up a company. We were starting to get video inquiries for real estate agents and some small businesses without even really doing much. Brian was traveling to India at the time. I was still in school, and I just thought, hey, I'm living in my parents' basement. Brian's living in his parents' basement. let's take a chance and then see what can come out of this. And yeah, we just came up with a name, Nora Vera, is True North in Latin and French, and yeah, it just kind of has grown from there over the last 8 years.
Over the last 8 years. So, what was scary back then?
What was scary back then? I don't know. It never really felt all that scary.
Okay.
It was kind of just or a very organic growth. It was. Didn't have a lot of expenses at the time. I had a very supportive mom and dad that just encouraged me, let me stay in their basement for free. And it was
feed you Cheerios once in a while.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know how scary it was. But yeah, it's just like, obviously wondering when the next bit of work is going to come in. Are we doing the right thing? How are we going to manage the workload together and all that? That's probably, was the scariest thing there.
And what do you remember the most when you first started? So you did your first year, second year. When did you start realizing, wow, this is more than just kind of a gig here. This is starting to get to become real, and it's a business. And because I mean, two guys two guys with video cameras heading around and doing stuff is pretty cool. But at what point did you say, oh, I think this is getting into become a business?
It was probably year 2 or 3 where it started to feel like it was something a bit bigger than ours. We had brought on our creative director, John, at the time, and we had another editor, Callum McGuffey. Just work was growing organically. We were getting repeat business, and it just started to, when people started referring to Nora Vera as a name and as a thing, that's when it started to sink in a little bit. It wasn't just Brian and Geoff shooting videos anymore. It was this thing that was a bit bigger than us, and
Okay.
it's probably around year three or 4 that was the case.
Let's put self-care. So back then, what was self-care back then? What were you doing? Mountain biking, gym. Well, no wife, no kids.
Yeah, no wife, no kids. I don't know if I was doing a lot of self-care like back then, to be honest. It was just a lot of work, a lot of just trying to figure things out. And the lack of self-care at the time is probably like the struggles I've had for the majority of my life with being heavier and just struggling to exercise and wanting to ride my bike more, but never really having the time to do so. I had broken my knee 9 or 10 years ago, so that had put me off the bike for about 4 or 5 years. So it was just trying to get back into the swing of things and do what I love. And then just, trying to balance life and relationship and family and work, and still try to make that time for yourself. But it's definitely hard.
So it wasn't really in your thought process. Self-care was not something that was, you know what, it was kind of there. But so why now? Why is self-care, we're talking about January 2021. Why self-care now?
I've been working with my friend Cam, who we did the Great Divide together with, and he has an online platform now to help with coaching and mindset and breath work and nutrition and fitness and all that. And the reason we ended up doing the Divide was him helping me out with meal plans years ago, and started feeling good. It's been like this for me with my fitness and nutrition and weight my whole life. And whenever I'm feeling good and putting myself as number one priority, everything else flourishes, and I actually do better in the rest of my life. So, and that's a part of this program now, which I've been doing for a couple of months. It's really helped me figure out the mindset aspect of it, to realize that when I do take that time, when I do prioritize what I'm eating, why I'm eating it, my fitness and my training, yeah, like I said, everything just gets better. My relationship at home, my own happiness, my work at Nora Vera, and it's a pretty important.
So lesson number one, podcast, show, call it whatever you want. Lesson number one, having self-care is not selfish. What you're saying is that you've noticed by taking care of yourself, putting yourself first, and that doesn't mean like being on top of everybody and stepping over everybody's heads. You're just saying, okay, if I prioritize my fitness, my health, that means that whatever comes after means I'm a healthier husband, father, a healthier leader. And if I feel good about myself, then I'll be able to tackle whatever comes in through the day.
Yeah.
So lesson number one for those listeners out there. So you said, and then I think it's important so tell us concretely in your business, what have you noticed when you're not healthy and when you are healthy? What's the difference? How does that monetize? Because that's one of the things, we translate strategy into frontline operations, right? So you've got this good strategy of putting yourself first, but how does it make money?
How does Nora Vera make money?
No, but how does you being healthier, how does it impact your business in a way that it improves systems? It is your decision-making ability better? Are you nicer to staff? Not that you are not nice. So what have you noticed that is concrete could be the ability of running meetings? I don't know. What's your...
Yeah, it's probably all of those things. Mental clarity is probably the biggest thing. So being able to stay focused for more time, being more engaged in meetings or with the team, coming up with new ideas, planning ahead, and just really having the ability to listen to the external world more than just what's going on in my head of self-doubts a lot of the time. And just really, being more present rather than being just in the head, and just coming up with new ideas and working with a team to be able to execute and come up with that, whether that's client projects or our own internal strategies to take things forward into the years ahead.
Okay. So is that something that you want to advocate for the rest of your team? Is that something that you've seen the benefit? Is that something that you encourage?
It's definitely something I encourage. Have I seen the benefit in spurts? I have. I again still doing this, and
that's all right.
It's always tough through the holidays to stick to the plan. But the more and more I work on it and I focus on it, it's the more I realize just how important it is. And our number one core value at Nora Vera is healthy body, healthy mind. You need to feel good to be able to think good, to be able to interact with people and be good. So that's the most important thing that I try to pass along to the team to make sure that everyone's feeling good. If you're not feeling it for a day or an afternoon, it's like, go home, rest, get out for a walk, get out for a hike, go for a bike ride, do what you need to do, because I'd rather you go just be yourself, do your thing, and come back when you're feeling good, versus just sitting there struggling, trying to be creative, especially working in a creative space. You need to have that open mind and that clarity to be able to create the things that
You
that we
beat
do.
me to it. I was going to say, so for those, tell the listeners, what does Noravera do?
Rivera, we're a video production content marketing agency. So we create online content, television commercials for multiple industries, marketing content to help raise awareness for brands, help with conversion for brands, help tell stories, and just get viewers engaged with the brands that and clients that we work with.
So you're running a business of artists,
Correct.
a lot of artists. So you don't become artistic, say, hey, be artistic now, right? So you want to create a framework for people to be able. So if you're not comfortable, if you're not healthy, if you're tired, and very difficult to be creative if you're not in the right mind space, right? So
Yeah.
go out for a walk. So ROI right there, right? So if you let people, you invest in their health, invest in giving them the airspace that they need, then they come back and they're productive.
Yeah.
And productive comes into, dollars and cents when you come up with it. Now, for those who are listening, don't get us wrong. We're not saying that money is the most important thing. Far from it, right? Artists,
Money is a byproduct.
correct. Money is the byproduct of a healthy organization.
Correct.
Now, healthy doesn't mean just financially. It means that if you've got, 90% of the work by most companies is done by human beings. So self-care, both physically and mentally. So let's talk about Zoom. Let's talk about COVID, right? I've been struggling a lot with that. I'm an extrovert. I like to spend time with people. Tell me, how have you stayed healthy, both physically and mentally, with your business through COVID?
For personally, COVID has been quite great. It's I had a daughter last January, so welcoming her into our lives at that time, bringing COVID on, our life was just completely different anyways. So
Yeah.
we didn't really know anything different. My wife Osa and I have talked about it, that if we didn't have Linnea at the time, it would be very different, and I'm sure it'd be very challenging to just like be home all the time. And just trying to figure that way out. But COVID's allowed me to be home and get to see Linnea. She turns 1 on Monday, and it's been really special to be able to be home with her for the year and see her grow and be there for those moments that I wouldn't have if I was running my business and living my life pre-COVID. So it's had a really positive shift for me in that way, and taking that time, like I said, with just stepping away from Zoom and just being able to go help out Osa with Linnea for a little bit upstairs, or just take a break from the computer screen to get out for a walk or do whatever it is. It's been a really beneficial thing for my life personally this year, and the business as well. We definitely had a rough go in March throughout most of the spring, as most companies have, with things locking down. And 2019 we had close to 50 shoots, but in 3 months, and this year we had 3. So it was a real struggle and tough time, and some difficult conversations with the team of having to do some layoffs. And it was tough. It wasn't a fun experience, but it has taught me a lot, and it's allowed us to be smart about how we're running things, how we're spending our money, how we're able to create opportunities for our internal team and the team that we had on staff before, but now are providing them opportunity to fill more and work with other companies as well. So it's worked out quite well this year with just some decisions that we made. So it's been a lot of learning, that's for sure.
That's for sure. A lot of businesses, right? They came in and they tightened the belt and they go, oh, we don't know what's going to do, but it's really created some efficiencies. So at first, it's been hard. We were working together and having to pick who you keep and who you don't keep. That's one of the hardest things a CEO can do when
Yeah.
you're in a position where even so a lot of times there's a lot of CEOs that went, okay, well, what can we do? So Geoff did a great job of using these government grants to be able to keep as many people as possible and offer that discount so that the machine would keep on going. So good job, Geoff, on using everything that you've got, open conversation, like, hey, you know what, you know, yeah, I'd like for you to tell the listeners what you said or you asked your team, you know, because I think it's important for other people to hear, other leaders to hear that you had an open conversation, say, hey, what do we do as a team? What can we do? And
Mhm.
I think there's, you know, a key component that said, people said, I'd rather take a pay cut, all of us take a pay cut so that we can all
Yeah.
keep on working together than
We,
fire
we
people.
didn't we didn't have to do pay cuts.
Okay, so tell me,
So
yeah, tell me what you did.
yeah, we did have to do some layoffs. So that was the tough part. And then
But hold on a second for the listeners.
yeah,
Those layoffs were not just caused by COVID. There was
correct.
prelims to that. There's performance issues. There's, you know, conversations about streamlining the business as well. So it was not just because of COVID. So it was pre-existing as well. So
Yeah, it's there was yeah, we were definitely overstaffed for the winter months, and just with our business being somewhat seasonal, but this year we're powering through. So it's neat, and it's a gamble. It's
yeah,
gamble's the wrong word. It's just as we are able to see farther and farther into the future now with our finances and forecasting and all that, it's really comforting to have some more security and confidence in the decisions that we're making. But yeah, last year we didn't have it all figured out, and it was definitely pretty tight pre-COVID. And then it's when it hit, things
Mhm.
were trending like they were going to pick up again in the spring as they usually do. But just yeah, everything being shutting down, it kind of forced the hand to need to make some decisions and yeah, make some cuts with the production team, just as all production stopped for 3 months.
Yeah.
So
So
we go ahead.
which clients stuck it out with you and for what reason?
Um, which client stuck it out? Not like not a ton, to be honest.
Okay, no,
they
that's good. That's okay. That's what I want to hear.
it's yeah, it's the the clients that we're working with now have been clients that we've had for last 4 or 5 years still. It's just everyone, I think, kind of put things on hold and didn't know what was going on with this virus, and just needed to put a hold on things. And we came up with the idea to do remote video content. So we are trying to educate people how to film themselves
Hmm.
and cut things through. And yeah, the Concert Properties is one of our long-standing clients. So they had some remote video content going for a few months, but it was still pretty slow. We only had a few of those going, and luckily we had some bigger projects that were kind of extended through from filming last fall that we were still in the editing process
Okay, good.
and getting that through. So we were able to keep the editors going, and yeah, we just really tried to come up with ways to keep everyone busy. We had editing competitions for the team, or the project managers and producers would team up with an editor to come up with a creative idea to create our own marketing material. And we just working with Ashley Glover's our operations manager and producer. She's just been awesome this year, helping figure out systems and implementing all the processes that you helped us get
Mhm.
started with. And yeah, we really took the time and didn't slow down, even though things slowed down, to keep it all going. So
Yeah,
it's really
taking
paying
advantage
off
of the
this year.
downtime, right? So
Yeah,
it is cyclical. So if you can't work in the business, then work on the business, right?
yeah,
So that's a really good one. Tell me, I want to ask a couple of more questions here.
sure.
So for other CEOs that are out there, tell me the power of the video. Like, tell me what's the feedback that you've gotten in regards to what you do? Because I have my own visions of how powerful, but now with Zoom, everybody working in front of a screen, what is the power of the video now in today's world?
Um, the power of video. video is just one of the most effective ways to get a message across, and it can be used in multiple ways. So obviously one-on-one conversations, video chats are pretty close to being in person in terms of just creating connection and starting a sales process or marketing or whatever that may be. But recording a video and telling a story, you can really bring the emotion out with sound, with music, with the story that's able to be put together in the editing process. And you're then able to cut that down into shorter pieces to have awareness content online, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, wherever your marketing efforts and channels are being used. And then you can create stills content when you're out on set as well to help fill out your social feed, to help build out websites and all of wherever you may need content. And then you can transcribe a lot of the audio from your video, and then you have blog articles and website content and all of that. So it's a catalyst to be able to create a ton of content for your marketing efforts.
Storytelling.
To storytelling. Yeah. Exactly.
Powerful, influential, a picture's worth 1,000 words. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot you can do with the video. So it's really, I mean, if we match what we just talked about with self-care, Apple just launched on Apple TV, they launched all of the fitness programs. You can do short videos on there. Again, adapting with the times, using video, because that's where it's at with self-care.
Yep.
So maybe you take videos of you doing your exercises from now on.
Yeah.
So tell me.
Cam keeps wanting me to do that.
So you've been up and down. What's your target? What do you want to do? Let's talk about self-care. Let's really put a few lessons in for our listeners. So a few aspects, fitness. What are you doing for fitness? As a CEO, tell me, is there a routine? You got a coach? Tell me what you do for fitness. Let's talk about fitness for now.
Fitness, again, as mentioned before, my friend Cam McDougall, In Body Fit is his training program. I'm working with him. He's set up a plan for me to train with the injuries that I've had, trying to get my core strength stronger, my hips and all that working well again. And just sticking to it. The consistency of that is a little struggling sometimes for sure still. And that's the mental block that I'm trying to
Lesson number 2, consistency, not just in fitness, but in business and everywhere. Be consistent. You're a good parent. Stay consistent with yourself. Good. Yeah. So Cam, we'll at the end, we'll do a shout out to Cam and get his details in there. So let's talk about item number 2, nutrition. So we got fitness, move the body. What are you doing for nutrition?
Nutrition, Cam's also supplied a meal plan. A lot of it is gluten-free foods, salads, lean ground beef, ground turkey, a lot of yams, some smoothies are thrown in there now.
Elk.
I got some elk. I have yet to have the elk, but we got the air fryer going, so I'll get that fired up.
Oh,
soon.
You got the air fryer too? Oh,
yeah, got that for Christmas.
That's not healthy, but it is healthy. It is. You can bake a lot of stuff in it. Nutrition. So
nutrition, yeah.
A lot of people, do you help out at work? Like, do you pay for food at work sometimes, or do you know there's just something?
No, every once in a while, like we'll order in some lunch for the team or something like that. And that's going to be something that we're working on this year, is sticking with that healthy body, healthy mind, is making sure that all of our food that we're ordering to be on set is healthy and clean eating and all of that, to just help. You have less brain fog after lunch. You don't have that 2-hour breakdown after.
So I had forgotten about that. Yeah, we're on your production. Yeah, you have to order food for the actors and the staff and whoever's on backstage. So that's you know what? Do you have any caterers or anybody that you want to give a shout out to, or?
Not yet, but if anyone wants to sponsor us, then or
you know what? I think we might use one, but I think the juice truck is a good one. So we might use the juice truck. We'll put a shout out for your juice truck in Vancouver. Another aspect, let's talk about sleep.
Yeah. Sleep is it's pretty I'm pretty consistent with my sleep. Some days I'm up on my phone later than I should be and all that, but I'm usually up 5:45, 6 in the morning when my daughter wakes up. So that's the last week was the first time I'd set an alarm in almost a year. So
Oh,
she started to sleep in a little bit more. So I'm like, okay, time to get up for an hour or so before her. But it's still very, yeah, fluctuates a lot with when she wakes up. But she's turns 1 on Monday and starts daycare next week. So that's pretty crazy.
for listeners and watchers, I think there's an important, if you can look it up, but I've, you can be an early person or a late person. It is biologically demonstrated that when you wake up from a good night's sleep, that power hour, the first hour, is really critical. Those first 2 hours to really pump out all the intellectual work that you need to pump out. And I've changed my habits from reading emails to not touching my phone until not opening emails, but go straight, stretch a little bit. That's my routine. I get up early. I do some range of motion, do some stretching, jump in, do my log for about 15 minutes, and then just turn on the computer and really work hard on strategies. And I get so much done from the whiteboard in those first 2 hours. Like everybody, my whole family, I mean, it's dark. We live in the Pacific Northwest, so it doesn't get light until what, midnight the night before. No, just kidding. It's getting lighter now that we're on the other side of the solstice, but that's my routine. But it all stems from a good night's sleep. If I get caught up in working, I have to catch up this and I have to catch up that, then all of a sudden you're on the emails and you look at it and it's 11:30, 11:40, you go, oh, what do I do? And then you're so wound up. You spend a little bit of time watching TV. Shout out to Schitt's Creek. That just makes me laugh so much. And then, you're in bed by midnight. You don't want to wake up at 5. So really preparing the night before, because that's, we always talk about proactive versus reactive, but it should be applicable to your life as well. So if you close your night properly, then the next day is golden, right?
Yeah.
So
that's one of the realizations that I've had a couple of weeks back, that to reward yourself with getting to sleep early so you're able to wake up fresh the next day, because you don't have to work a night shift, or you don't have to work late into the evening. You're going to be much clearer in the morning, and don't reward yourself with watching 2 or 3 hours of television at night and staying up late because, I completed my day. It's like, get to bed early and start the next day That's fresh.
Right. I pump out so much work between 5 and 7. It's crazy. I get so much more done than doing it at night. But now, hold on. There's some night owls out there. My wife, Tracy, is a night owl. She will get everything done at night. And oh my goodness, if I smile at her in the morning, I was like, oh my God. 18 years together, and we're just completely the opposite when it comes to day and night. So not everybody's a morning person. Just make sure that when you wake up, you give yourself that time to be able to do that. So closing the equation, spirituality, mindfulness. Do you do anything to turn your brain off?
As part of Camp's program, practicing meditation and getting that going. And I got myself an infrared sauna for my birthday. So
sweet.
that's been huge. It's been nice to just sit in there and just like sweat it out, listen to some nice calm music or some guided meditation, and just chill. Put the phone away, put books away, and just try to sit. And that's been my time to think and kind of think through what's going on in here. And that's been super helpful for me. But that's definitely something I'm still working on.
You know what amazes me is so many CEOs out there spend a lot of money in making sure that their team are comfortable, they're exercised, and yet they don't apply those rules, right? And when you look at the return on investment that it has, not just on your business, but on your life. Mm-hmm. And if you're a CEO, life is business, business is life. There's no, Jeff is Jeff. Exactly. So you have to be as much as possible the same person at home as you are at work. And really integration, people talk about work-life balance, but it's more about work-life integration, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. So that's, that's the key to success in my opinion. So there's a lot of lessons today. I can't remember what we're at, 10, 12 lessons today, which is good. And I mean, for me, I think the last one, hydration, is the one that, oh my God, I love coffee. I love coffee. Jeff is pretty good at making coffees. So Jeff taught me, he's like, okay, when you make an Americano, don't put the hot water after. He's like, put the hot water before so you get like crema right on top. So I was like, damn, that's smart, Jeff. So hydration, I struggle with that. What do you do?
I try to drink as much water as I can. I have a soda stream as well, so it gets a little bit of fizz, makes it a little bit fancy, just with some bubbles in there. But I definitely struggle with water. And I have a big glass water bottle, which I try to fill up and drink 1 or 2 a day. So try to get in a couple liters of water a day. But again, I struggle with that a lot of the time. Except if I go for a ride, I'll usually crush my water along the way. But that's sweating it all out right along the ride. So yeah.
All right. If you were to tell the people, what are you reading right now that is either, if we put self-care at the center of this episode, what's the one book or the one podcast or the couple of podcasts or the couple of whatever, what's the reference that people can go to? You go, you know what, I've been reading this lately and this is smashing it.
The 2 books that probably had the biggest impact on my life are The Big Leap and Essentialism. Those are both super, super excellent books. Essentialism is just all about, cutting everything out of your life that is not needed, saying no much more often. And it just creates so much more clarity with things. And again, still working on certain aspects of that, but it's a really, really great book. And the one I'm reading right now is Eat Smarter by Sean Stevenson. He has the Model Health Show for his podcast. Super, super smart dude. And some of the stuff is just, I read almost every paragraph out loud to Osa as I'm reading through it, because it's just so fascinating. It just really breaks down what happens in your body with food and digestion, and how your fat cells transport the things they need to throughout your body, how when it gets turned into the not so good fat and insulin and glucose, and how everything works. And it's just super, super fascinating. And he's now getting into the organic side of things and what pesticides do in the body to cause fatty liver, which breaks down your metabolism and messes things up. So it's pretty great book so far. And I'm only about 40, 50 pages into a few hundred pages. So,
wow. So where do people go to check you out? Where can people contact you directly?
Or if they want to check out noravera.com, you can send an email to info@noravera.com. It comes to myself and a couple of us, so we'll make sure to get back to you quickly. Or Geoff.Livingston@noravera.com is my direct email.
Okay,
so
fabulous.
Feel free to check it out. Yeah.
So we got a few shout outs. We did Cam. Can you give a little bit more on Cam? Where can people get a hold of Cam, full name and all that good stuff?
Sure. Cam McDougall. He has cammcdougall.com. He runs InBody Fit training. So it's just all about working on the inside and the mindset and all of that to produce the results and have the way you're feeling and looking as kind of the byproduct of what's going on here. And we've been friends for probably 12 years now. We went to BCIT together, and we both kind of parted ways. And then he started up a organic pasteurized meat company, and then ended up closing that down after just some challenges with it, and trying to take on the meat industry, trying to take on the vegetarians, the vegans, all that, and just realizing with needing to produce meat it was a bit of a struggle for him for the years ahead. And we ended up riding our mountain bikes together to Mexico, and just had a lot of time together to chat and connect and learn from each other. And he's one of the most incredible dudes I've ever met in my life. And
we're gonna have to use another hour just for that. We're gonna have to do another episode just about. We didn't even talk about the Great Divide, but that's another one. Where's the Great Divide? thegreatdivide.com. I don't know. You shoot it out. Where can people see the Great Divide?
It's if you look up Shorten the Divide on YouTube, It'll be on there. I don't know if I think the website is down as of now, but yeah, you can also check it out at noravera.com/shorten the divide and
Okay.
check it out. A 45-minute long documentary on our journey, trying to raise some money for some at-risk youth and challenge ourselves to ride our bikes from Banff to Mexico in 30 days.
Yeah, there's some good parts in there. Definitely some ups and downs, literally and
Yeah.
figuratively, emotionally, and up the mountain, down the mountain.
For sure.
Last question: what do you got on the go right now? So you got Nora Vera. What's brewing in your entrepreneurial mind right now?
What's bringing my entrepreneurial mind is just kind of slowing things down, to be honest. Just really focusing on myself, my family, and Nora Vera, and taking things into the year ahead. So last year, just with my adjustment in my role and taking a bit of a step back and passing on more responsibility to the team, there's a lot of guilt in that and a lot of confusion of, am I adding the value that I should and need to be having or adding to the company, or is this, do I need to start something new because I just don't exactly know what's how to kind of handle it and take it on. But the more I've just kind of slowed things down and focused on fitness and myself and my mindset, it's really allowed me to see the value that I do add to the company and what we're doing, and just it's working out really well right now, and I'm having a ton of fun with what we're doing at Nora Vera, and just I'm super excited for the things we have coming up in the year ahead.
And for those who don't know it, Nora Vera is the one that did our intro video and the website, all the stuff. Geoff, thank you very much for being on the show. We're going to have to do a part 2, probably part 3, somewhere down the road again.
Sounds
so
good.
Really appreciate you being on the show. And for everybody who's listening, noravera.com, they provide some really cool video. They, create storytelling that really uses emotions to move people to action. So thank you very much, Geoff. Thank you, everybody. My name is Martin Hunter. I'm the host of What CEOs Talk About. And thank you very much. And we'll please click subscribe. And then we will talk to you guys at the next one. Thank you very much.
Thanks for tuning in to What CEOs Talk About. Make sure to click subscribe to get notified about future episodes, or check us out at www.whatceostalkabout.com.